on, everyone. Welcome back to Headbangers React. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. As you can see, I have a guest with me today. This is my buddy Matt.
Hello, everybody.
So we just came back from the movies. We went and saw the movie Saw X, and we're going to basically give a review on that and some discussion. So I guess right off the get-go, was it what you expected? Did you like it?
It wasn't what I expected, and I did not like it.
A man of bluntness.
Yep.
I can appreciate that. Now, myself, I don't think I hated it, but it definitely was disappointing. It wasn't what I expected at all, and really felt unnecessary.
I hated it. There's three little parts to that movie which I would rather see in a very good death metal video and save my time of seeing this movie because I think it was horrible. The writing, the acting, how it's filmed, every aspect of it is absolutely trash. I do not like this movie at all. Right off the get-go, let's go there. That's how I feel about it.
I think that's fair. I totally get why you feel that way about it. Did you have high expectations going into it?
Well, I did see the trailer when I went to see the last voyage of the Demeter, and I did have high hopes. I thought, that looks sick. That looks really good. Like, holy shit, is this going to be a good Saw movie, like a throwback? I never really considered Saw movies to be that great. I never considered them to be part of the great franchise horror canon. I always thought there was just something that they were lacking. I liked the first one. I liked the third one. Everything else in between, I never got into. And I had high hopes for this movie. When I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, maybe I've been wrong about Jigsaw. Maybe he does belong in the upper echelon canon of big baddies. After seeing this, I have to say, he does not. He absolutely does not. I think Tobin Bell is a great actor. I think he's really great with the material he's given. And that material is a turd. And somehow he makes this turd shine a little bit in scenes. But even he, given this script, cannot make it sound good.
Yeah, you can't polish a turd, right?
You cannot polish a turd. This movie does not make sense from the get-go. The way it's filmed with the lighting contrast from, oh, I'm sad, John Kramer. And now I'm optimistic, John Kramer, going, like, just everything about this movie was bad, horrible, bad.
So I will admit, I didn't watch any trailers going into this. I didn't really want anything spoiled for me. I saw a couple reviews, basically just basic comments from people saying that, hey, this was really good. So my expectations were high going into it, but I definitely was still expecting something decent. And it really did fall flat. It wasn't interesting. Yeah. It wasn't necessary.
Not at all.
If anything, for me, it really took away from the Jigsaw character.
Yeah, I would say so too. I would agree with that 100%.
It tried to have a lot of emotional weight, I feel like it, but it didn't really play out at all. And I think, as you mentioned earlier when we were talking, you said basically the dialogue in this was just not well.
Oh my God, the script is written by AI. I swear to God, it's written by AI. If this is what we have to look forward to in the future, we're doomed. This was absolutely atrocious to see somebody as the caliber of Tobin Bell deliver this dialogue and try to deliver it earnestly. Hurt. It honestly was cringeworthy. I'm sure you could hear my eyeballs rolling in the back of my head at some of the lines delivered in this movie. It's so bad. I had such high hopes, like, oh, they're going to do something good with fucking Jigsaw and I'm going to be able to latch onto it. No, like, this was so bad. The dialogue was really bad. The writing was bad. The minor actors were so bad in this movie.
I mean, I totally get where you're coming from for sure. And from my background, I'm a big fan of the first movie and second movie. For me, part 3 is where it kind of tapered off for me. And while I can find some enjoyment in each of the installments after it, those are the two classic ones for me, especially the first one. The first one was a new idea. It's a solid movie in the franchise. I still very much like it. But yeah, I feel like as they go on, they got worse. And even some of the later ones still felt a lot better than this one. It just felt really unnecessary in the story. It didn't add anything. Like I said, if anything, it detracted from it. It just was poorly acted at times.
Yeah, again, it made Jigsaw not as threatening.
Exactly.
Like, how the fuck do you fuck that up? How do you do that? How do you make Jigsaw this genius architect, civil engineer who comes up with all these ingenious torture plans? How do you make him seem like such a fucking,
like, I get that he had cancer and he's not well and stuff like that, but it really made him feel weak.
Yeah.
Like, it really took any, like, mystique out of it for sure. They tried to uncover too much backstory. And I've mentioned this before to Matt, that I'm not a huge fan of too much backstory. I like to kind of build a little bit of that myself. Whereas if they just paint everything, there's nothing left to think about. And if you don't like what they came up with, it essentially kills the character.
Yeah, it takes away that intimacy that you have with developing your own backstory. You don't have the same backstory that I have. And when we watch a character that doesn't have an explained backstory, we come up with it in our head, and it's an intimacy that can connect you to the art. And that falls flat here. Like, you're given everything you need to know about Jigsaw. He's not an interesting character. His motive for what he does is not interesting. It really takes away from the other movies where you don't know his motive, and it's
I totally agree with that.
like, what am I watching here? Like, what, why?
So clearly, neither of us are too impressed with this movie. So
Thumbs down.
basically, if you're going to rate this from 0 to 10, 10 being the best, of course, what would you score it?
3 out of 10.
That's fair. I would probably go 1 point higher than that and give it a 4 out of 10. It really was disappointing for sure.
The only things that I thought were redeeming were the scenes that you think are redeeming. So no spoilers. Not going to say who, not going to say how, but there are some kills. It's a Saw movie, and you know Jigsaw is going to come up with tortures for these people to go through. You know that's going to happen, so no spoilers. The first two are fucking fantastic. The last one is really good. Not the last one, but the last one involving Jigsaw is really good.
Yeah.
Other than that, this movie has no redeeming qualities. It's bad. I would say don't go see it.
Yeah, overall, I mean, let's face it, if you're watching a Saw movie, you're there for the traps, you're there for the kills, you're interested to see what they come up with, hopefully new interesting ideas and ways to kill people or torture them.
And those things are present, but
yeah, it still felt like a
few and far
repeat of
between.
a lot of what's already been
Yes.
done. It didn't feel inventive by
nope,
any means.
not at all.
There was some good kills in this. There was some nice gore moments for sure.
Yep.
And that, but really, there's your redeeming
You
qualities.
need more. You need more.
Yeah.
You need more. The fact that the more that is involved in this movie is a negative on it, it's not worth it. It's really terrible, and not in a good way. It's not in a comedic way that it's bad. It's trying to be serious, but it's falling flat on its face.
I personally think too, because we talked about Tobin Bell, and like, yes, he did a good job with what he had, but it just wasn't well written. One thing I felt fell really flat as well was Shawnee Smith's character. I really did not enjoy her character in this, and I didn't think the writing was well done. And this is a small gripe, and it's, you can't really help it, but it's very clear the fact that this is between part 1 and 2 that she is aged. You know, Tobin Bell,
Yeah,
you can really,
absolutely.
it worked for him because he was older anyway,
Yeah.
so I could still tell he was older in this, but it wasn't distracting. I felt she was a little bit distracting.
I thought when she showed up, there's the knight in shining armor. She's going to save this movie. And she started out really strong.
Yeah.
And then quickly faded into an afterfart. Like, she was bad.
Well, it felt like it was going to be a whole apprenticeship kind of thing where, like, she's really taking the reins because we know that later on she does. But
Not needed here. She should not have been involved in the movie.
Yeah.
Her character, Amanda, should not have been involved in the movie. She'd added nothing to the movie. She took away from the movie. And I hate saying that because I love Shawnee Smith.
Exactly.
I love her. I think she's great. But to see her in this movie really took away from... It made it worse than what it was. She was bad. Her corny one-liners were just... I don't ever want to hear them again.
Yeah, it was just poorly written.
Yeah,
She really didn't
yeah.
add anything to it. And I have to admit that going into this, I was excited about the fact that we were getting Tobin Bell back and we were getting Shawnee Smith back. And it just really did not have a payoff
Nope.
at all.
Nope.
It was really disappointing that way.
I had my hopes up for the franchise coming back and something. I was all for getting behind this movement
Absolutely.
of like new Saw 10, Tobin Bell, Shawnee Smith back, Jigsaw is going to be doing some badass shit.
Exactly.
And it's absolutely like they make Jigsaw to be this pathetic fucking character who deserves your fucking like your mercy. And it's like, oh my God. And Shawnee Smith was just eating scenery left, right, and center. Like it was bad. Like I feel bad for Tobin Bell. Like don't go see this movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely disappointed with
Yeah.
it. Like I said, I had high hopes. Again, I wasn't expecting too much. You know, I'm well aware of what a Saw movie is, especially given all the sequels that have already happened.
yeah.
And that, but even with that, it still felt
It was
flat
bad.
for
It was
me.
worse than Spiral.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's bad. It's really bad.
yeah, and a lot of people
Don't
didn't
go-
like Spiral, and I didn't even mind Spiral, to be honest.
I
I don't think it was genius.
I thought it was forgettable. I remember one kill in that movie, the very first kill in the subway. I forget it after that.
Yeah.
I forget Jigsaw. Like I
At
remember
least you're never
number
feeling
one.
entertained by
I remember
it, though.
number two, and I remember number three. I don't remember anything afterwards. And this movie will be so forgettable. There's 3 kill scenes that are fun. They're tense. They're atmospheric. The music is perfect. Charlie Closer from Nine Inch Nails does the score.
It was nice to hear that theme music back for a moment, of course, because I love that
The
theme
puppet
music.
comes
but
from out of nowhere. I was like, what's with the puppet?
yeah, I don't think I'm ruining too much by saying this because, of course, if you've checked up anything about the movie at all,
the trailer.
I mean,
Everything's in the trailer.
it takes place in Mexico, stuff like that. So it didn't make sense that certain things were
No.
there. Like, there's in a way, I'm like, oh, that's
Nope.
here. That's convenient.
No, it doesn't make sense at all.
Sitting next to this guy the whole time, this is what I heard.
Yeah, you could hear my eyes roll. Like,
You could hear him sighing
Oh
the
my
whole
God.
time, and I was kind of chuckling a little bit. I didn't hate this movie quite as much as Matt does, but I did not enjoy it. I was definitely disappointed. You know, it's very lackluster for sure, and very unnecessary.
the coloring sucked. The editing sucked. Like, I was looking for different technical aspects of the movie to see if there was any redeeming qualities, and there's not.
Yeah.
Like, it's not filmed good. The lighting is sucks. Like, it's not good.
Yeah,
It's not
It feels very
good.
generic.
It is. Like, there's nothing new you haven't seen here. Like, a couple of the fucking kill scenes are good. That's it. And that's not worth your time. It really isn't worth your time.
It feels like they played it safe and just went the typical route instead of actually trying to come up with something inventive and maybe a little bit new to actually bring some excitement back.
I
to
think
the
they were
series.
cashing in on the fucking Terrifier popularity. Like, they went over the top with some of the gore. I think they really went over the top with some of the gore to try to cash in on that fucking Terrifier crowd.
Yeah.
I think some people are going to see, oh, if you like Terrifier, you're going to love the new fucking Saw.
Yeah.
No.
not at all.
No.
I love
you're
Terrifier.
not.
But yeah, I did not love Saw.
Oh, no, you're not. There's these political messages in the underlying script, like, no one trusts Big Pharma. That's why we're on the run and we're doing our shit because Big Pharma's after. Like, holy shit.
You know,
like,
and if that really played an important part in it or like worked well in the story, then I'm fine with that. But it was
it
unnecessary.
didn't.
No,
they
it's
messaged
just-
it because it's popular in popular culture. Like, it's just
Yeah.
it's not needed. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't go see this movie.
It was poorly written. I'm really not a fan either. Like I said, I think even 4 out of 10 is being a little bit generous. Like
3
I
out of
said,
10, I'm being generous.
Yeah, like I wanted to like this. You don't go to a movie not wanting to like it. I mean, you hope to get your money's worth and enjoy the film. And, you know, I was entertained for the time I was there simply for the fact I was out doing something. And I must admit that we also went to D-box seats, which are the seats that move. And this really did not add to this movie at
Stupid.
all. It was very pointless.
Stupid. It was
Yeah.
distracting. I'm like, they're sawing through someone's intestines and I'm feeling every fucking move through the guts. I'm feeling in my chair. I'm like, that's not.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that we differ about is that I didn't mind that aspect of it, but
I thought it was bad.
they didn't use it much. Again, I think it's more suited to stuff like action movies and stuff. But with this, like, it was like, okay, here's a driving scene, and the seat would like tilt back and then move forward, and it's like, okay, what was the point of that? It really didn't add anything. It felt like it was just there to be there. So I think it was very unnecessary for us to bother with D-Box with this movie. So if
Yeah.
you're thinking about that, and that's an option, I'd skip out on it. Save your
If you're thinking about going to see this movie, don't go see it. Don't pay money to see this movie.
I mean, in all fairness, this is our opinion, and maybe you'll love it because let's face it, I know some people that if it's horror, if it's labeled as horror, they love it. They just love anything horror. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be interesting. They're just like, it's horror. I love it, I'm not one of those
I'm
people.
all for paying to go see a horror movie in the cinema. We need more horror movies to get made, put in the cinema. Like, we need that. But this movie's not worth your money. It's
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, let's face it, we're on Saw 10. I'm thinking it's just a money grab at this point. They're not bringing
Well, it
anything new and
was.
interesting.
That's what it turned out to be. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's terrible. Don't go see it.
So I think it's fair to say that neither of us very much cared for this film, and we recommend you don't see it. I mean, that's up to you, of course. But yeah, not a fan.
Poop.
So
Sorry.
unfortunately disappointing
American Sign
for sure. Anything you'd like to add?
I hope no one goes to see this movie. I hope if we save somebody from spending $20 to go see, even just one person.
Well, here's the sad part is that I actually saw something online about them saying that basically if this did all right, it looked like they had another idea to do another movie. And frankly, at this
I
point,
won't see it. I will not see.
Yeah, I certainly won't go to the theater.
Nope.
I will sometimes watch stuff because I'm the type of person that even if I don't think I'm going to like it, I would like to see it so that I can fearfully trash on it.
No.
Again, I'm not the type of person that's going into something for a negative point of view. That's not my, what I'm aiming
I don't
to
want
do.
to be negative at all.
No.
I want to be positive and say, go see this. This is
Yeah, I would
awesome.
love to be like, this is wicked. I
But
had so
this
much
was
fun.
bad.
But
I'm insulted. I actually felt insulted, like how dumb this movie was.
and the movie took a long time to really start up. In the beginning,
Yeah.
we get a quick scene, and that like kind of ramped things up. And I was like, "Oh, this could be fun." And then right there, it fizzled out.
The fact that he finds out by trying to be a nice person and deliver a bottle of tequila, and not that he goes back to his normal life, has an episode, and have doctors say, no, you weren't treated at all. He finds out from trying to deliver a bottle of...
Yeah,
The story writing to this movie is absolute shit.
yeah, it's just
No one even tried. This is AI.
it's just not good. So unfortunately, based off this, you can tell we were not fans. We're both giving this a thumbs down. But with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in for this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was a little bit of insight to what you might be getting into. Please let me know what you feel about the film if you went to go see it, and hopefully you didn't and you get to save your money. But if you did, let me know down below. So on that note, thank you very much for tuning into this video. Always appreciate you guys taking the time and all of your support. If you have a moment, please subscribe. It helps the channel grow. Impale that like button. If you'd like to get our future updates, stab the notification bell down below. Also check out the socials down below. Thank you so much. Always appreciate you taking the time to watch these. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being on this, Matt. Appreciate
Oh,
you
you're
taking the
most
time.
welcome, man. Anytime.
Awesome.
I had a great time.
We'll get them back
Love
for
you
another
guys.
one for sure.
Awesome, guys.
Cheers, everybody. Stay sick.
Peace out.